Hey guys, it's Gail. Just back after a sort of a difficult week for everybody I know, myself included. Um, I know I think I was off last week. I don't well, for obvious reasons I was not here last week, so it's good to be back on and sort of engaging with everybody again. Don't know how long I'll be on here for because I am, uh, a little under the weather. I got a little bit of a cold, and kids are a little sick as well. So I will just see how it goes. I'm still processing a lot of what happened in Florida. I will say that, as I mentioned in my little microblog I did this morning, it was a bit of a tougher time for me this go round. I know it's funny. Sadly, our many of us are probably used to all the shootings by now, but for me personally, this one hit me a little harder because of the timing, I guess, and just maybe some of a few of the students being Jewish. I related a lot to that as a Jewish person, so there's a lot of connection there to my life, and plus I had my own stuff I was dealing with, so that was a little bit tough. But I took the past like 7 days to sort of digest everything, and I think now I'm sort of ready to deal with my feelings on the shooting and what that means, and to sort of engage more with people online and offline about what this means for the United States. And when I was thinking about what to talk about tonight, I was sort of going back and forth on, should I talk about what happened in Florida. It's been a week. People are probably very inundated with a lot of discussions. There's a lot of debate, a lot of angry exchange, people fighting over what gun control means, and whether it's going to infringe on anyone's rights. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to go down that path. And I think I'm going to try to, as best I can, steer clear from a flat out debate about what it means to own guns in this country. I am a sort of middle ground person when it comes to that. I don't have a problem with people owning firearms. I think there is some responsibility that needs to come with it. I think that's something that people from all political views can respect. I'm not from the extreme left where I say there should be no guns at all for anyone. I know many people hunt for to put food on the table. I think speaking as a person who is from the city and who did not grow up around people who hunted. I think, and a lot of people like myself don't understand the culture of hunting, and a culture of needing to provide food in that way. And I think it's not right of us to necessarily go after people who have guns as part of their lives in that respect. So I think that's the first. We have to sort of listen to the other side on that front. But at the same time, I think the people who are on the more pro-gun side need to step back and think about what that ownership means, and reflect on their rights to own a weapon versus the safety of the greater society. And that's always something that's tough, as as an individual who believes in people having individual rights. What is that? What are your rights mean in terms of how they affect everyone else. So that's something to definitely to think about. But like I said, not gonna go too deep into that. But I was, I'm thinking about, a lot of people are posting about, aside from, the gun issue, people are like, well, what is the cause for all these tragedies, all these shootings, whether it's a mass one or even something on a smaller scale. And a lot of people are putting a blame on a lot of different areas. You hear the first major one being said, it's a mental health issue. It's mental health. People are unstable. We got to get better health care for these people. And I'll be honest. At first I was kind of on that in that camp of like, oh, it must be it's a mental health issue. But I've since been better educated on that fact, and I no longer believe that it's saying it's a mental health problem um is helpful, and I actually think it can be harmful because it is furthering a stigma about people with mental illness. I think you know I don't think you have to be um of have any mental illness to carry out a crime. I think we've seen evidence of that time and time again. Um, you know, I think it's hard for us. It's maybe hard for people to imagine a sane person uh, carrying out mass destruction, but it's not. I think you can be very well in your right mind and do something like that. I don't think it's mutually exclusive. So I don't. I think to just say, well, it's a mental health issue is just sweeping is just not getting to the root of a bigger problem. And that being said, I think yes, we do need better mental health counseling, treatment, advocacy in this country. But it's because we need that in general. It's nothing to do with school shootings. It's something that is needed anyway. There's plenty of people who are suffering, who are good people, are trying to be productive members of society that need support. You know, I don't think the reason to advocate for that should be because you're fearful of what you might do. I think it's because you should, want to help because it's the right thing to do. So that's obviously a big one. And the other one being going around is obviously the prevalence of video games and the exposure to violent video games, and now that's teaching kids to be killers. And I think that's a bit of a cop out. I think to just lay the blame at the foot of um, media is sort of an easy way to kind of wash our hands clean and say, well, it's not us, it's the video games. Now, I'm not saying that it doesn't do anything, but I feel like, it's one of those things where just because it doesn't, I don't think playing a video game is going to cause someone to act violently. I think you may be a type of person who might have a propensity towards violent behavior, might be attracted to a certain video game, but, you know, I I know plenty of people who play that all the time. Like the Swedish people, and like you wouldn't even know. For some, it can be playing video games is a way to let off steam. It's to sort of relax. For a lot of people, it's a way to express maybe some rage in a less uh, violent way. So I think this is something that we've been saying in Columbine. I mean, they've also said that limiting to violent music and things like that. Again, I don't think you can make a correlation, but absolutely not a causation. And I think it's a little bit unfair to do that, especially when video games are played by so many people and in so many countries that don't have a problem. So I think that's a bit unfair. And then the other one, um, which is brought up a lot, is this idea of lack of moral values are going down. That we don't have the convictions as we once did. out online, poking fun or comments, overblown, honestly. But when it comes to actually calling them out, face to face, calling them out to like authorities or doing what needs to be done, we don't do it. We have this, I would say, this passive aggressive attitude, and I think that is part of the problem. And you know, and as a parent, I mean, even on the other end of the spectrum, I, as a mom, I feel like I'm judged all the time, but it's always in this sort of backhanded, um, under underhanded sort of way. And like somebody, people see all the time, like people taking pictures of a mom breastfeeding at a restaurant, but instead of being having the guts to go up to her and be like, you know, hey, this makes me uncomfortable. Which, look, she has every right to breastfeed, but at least instead of being criticize her, go up to her face. No, instead they take a sleazy photo and they post it online and they put all sorts of stuff and comments, and now they have to just, they shame her on social media, and that happens all the time. Or, when things happen to me, I was, shopping with my kids, and at the register, and I was talking, I was talking with my youngest, and my older child went and started messing around with the shopping cart. And he wasn't behaving appropriately, but there was a holding up a license, and instead of saying something to me, they murdered and aggressed my parenting skills. And you know it it was hurtful because it was they weren't trying to do anything to help me better the situation. They weren't going up to me saying, hey, look, your child is looks like he's having a hard time. What can we do to make this better for you? Instead, they thought it was right to insult me, and I actually did confront them about it, and they just continued to berate me after the fact. But it's this idea that we can't speak to one another and to offer help or if necessary offer criticism, and to be able to deal with that. And and I say, speaking as a mother myself, we when someone comes up and is points something out that is wrong, that is being handled incorrectly, or maybe that or behavior that's not being right, I think we need to step back a minute and just not always take it so personally if it's coming from if it's coming from a good place and it's meant to help. I mean, it's a tough it's a tough distinction between you know helping and interfering. I know, but sometimes it's needed, and I think you know if like some kids, it's like it's I think we don't allow ourselves that ability to talk to each other like that and to help each other like that and to yes to criticize each other. And I think that's where a lot of this is coming. And I think we have teenagers that are often lost and unsure, and like we are afraid to talk to them, and we're afraid to talk to their parents because we don't want them to think we're insinuating something that may be true. If you're a teacher and you suspect something's wrong, and I've seen this written by many teachers, they're like, we have these worries about certain kids in our class, and they don't act on that because it's I don't know, they're afraid of maybe a parent getting angry at them for accusing their kid of having issues, or for opening up a dialogue that maybe grounds for some legal action. I mean, you saw it in 13 Reasons Why. I mean, it's the signs were there. The teachers knew there was a lot going on, and they didn't do anything because we don't empower them to do so. We don't empower ourselves as a community to do so. So I think just what I I hope for our country is that we learn to just talk to one another a little bit better and not to hide so much on social media and to be open with one another and to if there's something we want to say it and to not hide behind muttering or a comment bar and to think about, well, if we're going to say something, would it be something we'd say to that person's face? And if something is not right, are we going to have the courage to speak up about it? And it's something I know I will definitely have to work on. And on the other end of it, it's can we learn as people to accept criticism and to accept questions and to accept help from others when it's needed. So, so that's gonna be it, I think, for me here. Thank everyone for watching. I think I'm gonna actually, I want to give it a try. I'm going to switch over now to Instagram, and I'm gonna switch over to hopefully a more happier subject. I'm talking about a little bit about the idea of truth in what we post and what it means to be authentic, which I think would be a good fit for over there. So if you are interested in seeing that, you can join me over at Instagram at Maybe I'll Shower Today. And I thank you for listening. Bye.